So if you want to grab your block or book and just put it to the side of your mat. And we're actually going to start in a child's pose. So you can have your knees together if that's comfortable, or you can bring your knees wide and then just bring your torso down towards the ground. And if you can, find somewhere for your forehead to rest. So you might want to bring your forehead onto a blanket or a cushion, or maybe your forehead can rest all the way down on the ground. And if you can, then just allow the muscles around the forehead and the jaw and the face to soften as you let your body kind of sink down into the ground. And the arms can be alongside of you, or they can be out in front of you. And start without changing anything to do with your breath. Just start to notice the gentle flow in and out of the breath. Maybe you can feel the breath all the way down in the low back or the low belly. Maybe you can feel the breath in the sides of the ribs. And then start to breathe a little bit deeper and see if you can start to use your breath to open a little bit more space all the way down in the low back. Inviting the breath to be really full and really deep. And then, as well as feeling the breath down into the low back, see if you can feel the breath now in the space in between your shoulder blades, so behind your heart. Inviting some space with your inhale and softness with your exhale. And just practicing that for a few breaths. Space with the inhale and softness with the exhale. Whatever that means for you at this moment, in this body, in this breath. And just now inviting an awareness of the connection that you've got between your body and the ground. Really getting a sense of that connection, that ability that you have and your body has to just sink down, to learn to go a little bit slower and to tune in and to rest. Good. And then from your child's pose, we'll come into puppy dog pose. So if you walk your hands forwards and then bring your hips so your hips are stacked over your knees and start to sink your chest down towards the ground. Your forehead may also come down towards the ground. If you're super flexible in your upper back, your chin may be able to come down to the ground. And whether the forearms are down or up, see if you can spread your fingers here. And then invite your breath more deeply into the sides of the ribs. So inhaling and expanding the ribs all the way out to the side. And exhaling, softening the forehead and the space in between the shoulder blades. Take an inhale all the way up into your collarbones. And then exhale, soften through the back of the heart. And then from there, slowly walk yourself back up and come into a kneeling position. And if kneeling isn't comfortable for you, then you can sit cross-legged or in any other comfortable seat. And then bring your left fingertips out so they're in line with your left hip. And start to bend the left elbow and release the head and the neck over towards the left-hand side. Take an inhale and reach the right arm up and over. And then exhale, allow that right hip to really settle down into the right heel. Inhale, breathe more space all of the way down the right side of the body. And then exhale, relax the back of the head and the back of the neck. And from here, we'll come into neck release. So keeping the head and the neck released over towards the left side, and then hovering your right fingertips about 6 to 12 inches up off the mat. Take an inhale all of the way up into the right side of your neck. And then exhale, draw the right shoulder in towards the spine and create space in between your teeth at the back of your mouth. Take another couple of breaths here, really breathing into the right side of your neck. And then gently come up. Bring the left hand to support the left side of the face and draw the head up to center. And then switching over, bring the right fingertips out, put a bend in that right elbow, release the head and neck. Inhale, bring the left arm up and over. And exhale, soften through your left hip, the left part of the low back. And again, use your inhale to bring that idea of creating space in between your ribs and your hips, all of the way down the left side of the body. And exhale, soften the forehead, the jaw, the neck. Coming into neck release, hovering the left fingertips out in line with the left side of the body. Take an inhale all of the way up into the left side of your neck. And then exhale, draw the left shoulder in towards the spine. Relax the jaw. Maybe taking a couple of breaths here in through the nose and out through your mouth. And then gently coming back up, supporting the head with the hand and drawing yourself up to center. And then we'll come forward onto the hands and the knees into a tabletop position, spreading the fingers nice and wide and bringing the knees underneath the hips, the hands under the shoulders. Starting with some simple cat-cow. So inhale, drop the belly, open the chest and lift up your gaze. And exhale, push through the mat around the spine, draw the chin in, draw the low belly in. Take a few more breaths like this, starting to breathe into the low back and the upper back. Starting to feel into whatever's present for you in your body today. Just inviting some awareness into that, some breath into that. And then come back into a neutral position. Send your right hips out to the right, and then look over your right shoulder like you're trying to see the right hip. And then send your left hip out to the left and look over your left shoulder like you're trying to see your left hip. So we're moving into lateral flexion. So moving the spine instead of up and down and rolling movement, moving it from side to side. And then you can either stay with this, come back to your cat-cow, or maybe take some more kind of circular movements with your spine. So you're really exaggerating the movement of the spine in all of the different directions. And breathing deeply as you're moving your spine. And if you're going in circles, starting to take the circles in the other direction. Good, and then come back into a neutral position. Tuck the toes under. Take an inhale into the space in between the shoulder blades. And exhale, hover the knees 2 inches up off the mat. Pushing down through the hands and spreading the fingers. See if you can push down also through the tips of the fingers. Tucking the tailbone under and keeping the breath deep into the sides of the ribs. As you exhale, getting a sense of the low belly drawing gently in towards the spine. And then lifting the hips up and back into a downward facing dog. And taking some movement here, so baby bending and straightening the legs, moving the hips from side to side, relaxing through the back of the head and softening through the neck. And then everybody put a bend in the knees, come into stillness, and send the sitting bones really high up and back. And then if you can, get a sense of wrapping the shoulders in towards the midline and lengthening all the way from your fingertips up to the sitting bones. And only if you can keep the back nice and long, starting to straighten the legs, bringing the heels down towards the mat. If you can't keep the back long, just keep a bend in the knees. Good. And then inhale here. And exhale, come forwards into a plank position, bringing the shoulders over the wrists, drawing the low belly in. Taking an inhale in your plank. And exhale, pushing through the hands, lifting the hips up, downward facing dog. Inhale here. And exhale, come forwards into a plank position. Taking an inhale in your plank. And exhale, lift back up, downward facing dog. One more, inhale in your dog. Exhale, squeeze the arms together as you come forward into a plank. Taking an inhale here. And exhale, lift back up, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up into the air. And exhale, step the right foot forwards between the hands and bring the left knee down. And then push through your left hand and reach the right arm up into the air, into a gentle twist. An option to stay here or to push through the top of the left foot, lifting the left knee up off the mat. Good. And then release the right hand down and step back into a plank position. Drop the knees down. Take an inhale into the space in between the shoulder blades. And then exhale, bend the elbows and come half of the way down. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. Inhale to straighten the arms. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades down, draw the heart forwards. Inhale to come back up. And exhale to come half of the way down. Inhale to come back up. And exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the left leg up into the air. And exhale, step the left foot forwards. Bring the right knee down. Keep the right hand down and take an inhale and bring the left arm up into the air. Option to stay here or to push through the top of that right foot and hover that right knee up off the mat. And if you're hovering the right knee, see if you can get a sense of turning on the right glute. Good. Release the left hand down, the right knee down, and step back into downward facing dog. And then look towards your hands, put a bend in the knees, and step or jump into a seated position. And then come all of the way down onto your back for abs. And just grab your block so that it's handy. And lie down and lift your legs up, and if you can, bring the heels straight up towards the ceiling with the legs nice and straight over the sacrum. If that hurts the back of the thighs, then just put a soft bend in the knees. And really feel for where your feet are over your sacrum. So really get a sense of rootedness down through the sacrum when the feet are in line. And then turn the right toes in towards the middle. Take an inhale here. And exhale, push the low back down and bring the right leg forwards down towards the ground, keeping the low back grounded. Inhale, draw the right leg up. Turn the left toes in towards the middle. And exhale, push the low back down, maybe hovering that left leg down towards the ground. Inhale, draw the left leg up. Turn the right toes in and exhale, hover the right leg. Inhale, right leg up. And exhale, hover the left leg. Push the low back down and draw the low belly down. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, hover the right leg. Pushing the low back down, drawing the low ribs in. Inhale, right leg up. And exhale, hover the left leg, pushing the low back down. Inhale, left leg up. And then hug the knees in towards the chest and give yourself a squeeze. Maybe roll around a little bit on your low back. And then grabbing a block, unless you're Carolina, in which case you're carrying on with those. And grab your block and place your block or book in between your thighs. And bring the legs straight back up towards the ceiling. And this time spread your toes and reach up through the heels. Clasp the hands behind the back of the head and send the elbows up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale all of the way down into the low back. Hold the breath, push the low back down, curl the tailbone, squeeze the block. Exhale, lift the elbows up towards the toes and draw the low belly down. Inhale, come back down. Hold the breath. Push the low back down, curl the tailbone, squeeze the block. Exhale, lift the elbows towards the left knee. Squeeze the block again and pull the low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, push the low back down, curl the tailbone, squeeze the block. Exhale, lift the elbows towards the right knee, lifting up the right shoulder blade. Pull the belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, push the low back down, curl the tailbone, squeeze the block. Exhale, lift the elbows towards the left knee again and pull the low belly in towards the spine. Inhale to center, hold the breath, push the low back down, curl the tailbone, squeeze the block. Exhale, lift the elbows towards the right knee and pull the low belly down. Last one, inhale to center, Hold the breath, push the low back down, curl the tailbone, squeeze the block, and exhale, lift the elbows straight up towards the ceiling and pull the belly down. Inhale, release the head, release the feet, release the block. Bring your hands onto your knees and take some big circles with the knees around the hip joints. Keeping the breath deep all of the way down into the hips. Good, and then bring the soles of the feet together on the mat into Supta Baddha Konasana with the knees dropping out wide. And bring the hands into a downward facing triangle like this, just below your belly button. And take some deep breaths into the space just below the belly button. As you exhale, letting the whole hips, pelvis area to soften down into the ground. Good. And then bring the knees back up and bring the feet in line with the sitting bones, setting up for a bridge pose. Take an inhale and spread your toes, spread the sides of the ribs. And exhale, push through your feet and lift the hips up into the air. And start to feel for the breath creating space, this time between the hips and the ribs, all the way down the front of the body. And the shoulders and the neck are nice and soft. Option to stay here or to push down with your left foot. Take an inhale and draw the right knee in towards the chest. And then exhale, send the right leg straight up towards the ceiling, spreading the toes of your right foot. Inhale, spread the sides of the ribs. And then exhale, push down through your inner arch of your left foot. And bring your right foot closer towards your face if the right foot's lifted. Release the right foot down if it's lifted. Take an inhale, draw the left knee in towards the chest. And exhale, send the left leg straight up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale to spread the sides of the ribs. And exhale, push through the right foot, draw the left toes in towards the face. Release the left foot down. Everyone take an inhale at the top. And then exhale, curl the upper, then the middle, then the lower part of the back, slowly down towards the ground. And hug the knees in towards the chest and start to move yourself forwards and backwards along the length of the spine. Taking some rocks and rolls forwards and backwards. And we're going to come up into a standing forward fold. So you might want to just use your hands to get there, or you can take yourself straight up into your fold, coming up to the top of the mat. Maybe bringing your thumbs to the inner elbows to allow the upper body to rest down a little more. And taking some deep breaths again down into the low back. See if you can create space in the low back with the breath. With your exhale, softening the forehead and the jaw. Maybe nodding the head, maybe shaking the head. Maybe taking a couple of breaths out through your mouth here. Letting go of anything that needs to be released. And then slowly starting to roll yourself up, bringing your hands either onto your shins and lengthening the heart forwards, or if you can't keep the back straight with the hands on the shins, bring the hands onto the thighs. So we're in a half lift position and the upper body is in line with the floor. And then probably the weight's gone back into your heels. So see if you can bring your weight forwards a little bit so it's evenly spread between the heels and the balls of the feet. And then draw the low belly in and lengthen the sitting bones down. And bring the arms out so they're in line with your shoulders in a cactus position. So this kind of position with the arms. And really get a sense of stability and steadiness in the low belly and in the legs. Take an inhale and open the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, round the spine, draw the elbows in. The legs are steady. Inhale, open the chest, squeezing the elbows together. And exhale, rounding the spine, drawing the elbows in. 2 more like that. Inhale to open. And exhale to round, drawing the low belly in. And 1 more, inhale to open. And exhale, pushing through the outer edges of your feet, drawing the low belly in. And then slowly rolling yourself up into a standing position and taking some rolls of your shoulders. Maybe just shaking the legs out, the arms out when you get to the top. And then spreading the toes, coming back into stillness and just closing the eyes down for a moment. See if you can for feeling a long line all the way from the back of the head down to the sacrum. And inviting some breath into the sides and the back of the ribs. Inviting some softness in your connection with the ground. And then letting the eyes open. Inhale, reach the arms up into the air. Exhale, fold forwards and draw the low belly in. Inhale, half lift, lengthening the heart forward. Exhale, step back into a plank position. Your plank can always have the knees down. Take an inhale here. And exhale, hover the knees off the mat. Inhale, reach out through the heels. Exhale, hover the knees. Inhale, reach out through the heels. Exhale, hover the knees and then drop the knees. Send the shoulders back and down as you lower all the way down onto your belly. And then bring the hands out in front of you for a cobra pose. The hands are a bit wider than the shoulders. Push through the tops of the feet. And then take an inhale and draw the upper ribs forwards. And exhale, draw the shoulder blades down the back. If the low back is sensitive, push into the pubic bone and draw the low belly in. And we'll take a few more breaths here, getting a sense of drawing the hands back in towards the hips. And if the back feels happy, you can start to straighten the arms and maybe take the gaze up. Breathing space into the upper ribs, the sides of the ribs, the back of the ribs. And exhaling softness through the back of the heart. With your next exhale, lowering yourself back down and pushing back up into a downward facing dog. And taking a couple of breaths there, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale, bend the knees and look forward. Exhale, step or jump to the top of the mat, standing forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms all of the way up. Exhale, draw the hands back to heart center. And again, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forwards and draw the belly in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back, lowering yourself down towards the ground with the same exhale. Take one inhale, draw the upper ribs forwards. And exhale, push back up into a downward facing dog. And giving yourself an opportunity to really find your breath here. And really see if you can find that long line from your fingertips up towards the sitting bones. Wrapping the shoulders in to support the shoulders in their sockets. Inhale, bend the knees, look forwards. Exhale, step or jump, top of the mat, standing forward fold. Inhale, raise the arms all the way up. Exhale, draw the hands back to heart center. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, fold forwards, draw the belly in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, this time step the left leg back and bring the left knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up into a low lunge. And exhale, push through your right foot and curl the pubic bone in towards the belly button. Option to stay here or to come into arrow lunge, pushing through the top of your left foot and hovering the left knee up off the mat. Squeezing the inner thighs in towards each other. Releasing the hands down either side of your front foot, stepping back into a plank position. Taking an inhale here, and exhale, lowering yourself down. Inhale into your back bend, and exhale, downward facing dog. Taking one inhale and lifting the left leg up into the air. And exhale, step the left foot forwards between the hands. Release the right knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up into the air. And exhale, push through the left foot. Again, curl the pubic bone in towards the belly button. Option to stay here or to push through the top of your right foot. And again, continuing to maintain that drawing in of the inner thighs towards each other, whether the right knee is up or down. Releasing the hands down either side of the front foot and stepping the right foot forwards to meet the left. Standing forward fold. Putting a bend in the knees and using an inhale to come up into a chair pose. And then clasping the fingers together, except for the index finger, which stays straight forward, and reaching the arms up. Option to come up onto your tiptoes and get a sense of the shoulder blades drawing down the back. Feeling the breath deeply into the sides of the ribs. Taking one more inhale. And then exhale, standing forward fold. Release the back of the neck. Inhale, half lift. And exhale to step or jump back. Option to come straight into downward facing dog or through a vinyasa. And inhale, reach the right leg up into the air. And then exhale, reach away through the ball of the right foot. Spread the fingers and lift that right leg up and back. Take another inhale here. And exhale, step the right foot forwards between the hands. Stay on the ball of the left foot and come up into your high lunge. Spreading the fingers of your hands, reaching the arms up. Taking an inhale to hover the back knee off the mat. And then exhale, reach out through the back heel. Inhale to hover the back knee. And exhale, reach out through the heel of the foot. 2 more like that. Inhale to hover. And exhale to straighten. Inhale into the sides of the ribs. And exhale, straighten the leg. And we're going to come into warrior 3. So bringing the hands either together in front of the heart or just alongside of the body. Starting to transfer our weight into our right foot. And then floating the left leg up into the air. So the upper body is parallel to the ground. And the toes of the left foot are spread. An option to stay here, or take an inhale and bend that left knee alongside of the right knee. And exhale, reach out through the ball of that left foot. Inhale to bend the left knee next to the right knee. And exhale, reach out through the ball of the left foot. 1 more like that. Good, and then release the left foot back. Bring the left knee down. We'll come into half Hanuman. So if you're super flexible, you can come straight in. Otherwise, sit yourself up. Straighten the right leg out in front of you. And spread the toes of the right foot, draw them in towards the shin. And then maybe this is enough. Maybe you can start to fold forwards. You might want to use your blocks or your books. Trying to keep the back nice and long and the heart shining forwards. And take some breaths into the back of that right thigh. Any tenderness behind the knee, just put a soft bend in the right knee. And soften through your shoulders, soften through your jaw. And then bend that right knee again. Bring the hands to frame the front foot. Step back into a plank position and lower all the way down onto the belly. And then clasp the hands behind the low back and roll the shoulders away from the ears, keeping the elbows bent. And if the shoulders can stay open and you can straighten the arms, and starting to straighten the arms, lifting the arms up off the low back. Taking an inhale into the sides of the ribs. And then exhale, reaching the fingers towards the feet, lifting the chest up off the mat. And if the low back feels happy, you can also hover the feet up off to the mat into a boat pose. Taking some deep breaths here into the sides of the ribs and keeping the chest open. Maybe lifting the gaze up. Not cranking the neck up, just the gaze, the eyes going up. And then releasing down and pushing back up into a downward facing dog. Taking a big inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. One more like that. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. Inhale, reach the left leg up into the air. And exhale, reach away through the ball of the left foot. Spreading the fingers, creating a long line all the way from the fingertips to the left toes. Taking one more breath in here. And then exhale, step the left foot forwards. Stay on the ball of the back foot. And come up into your high lunge on the other side. Same idea. Inhale, hover the right knee. And exhale, reach out through the heel of the right foot. Inhale, hover the right knee. And exhale, reach out through the right heel. Inhale, hover the right knee, spread the toes of the left foot. And exhale, reach out through the heel, soften the shoulders. One more like that. And then bringing the hands together in front of the heart space. Taking a breath and maybe a step forwards, or transferring the weight straight into the left leg and coming up into warrior 3. Option to stay in your balance, just focusing on really rooting down through both arches of your left foot. Or you can take an inhale and draw the right knee in alongside of the left knee. And exhale, straighten the right leg out. Inhale, draw the right knee in. And exhale, straighten the right leg out. Inhale, draw the right knee in. And exhale, straighten the right leg out. And then release the right foot down. Bring the right knee down. Coming up into your hamstring stretch. So maybe lifting the chest up and drawing the toes towards the face, or maybe folding forwards. And finding that space with your inhale again. And softness with the exhale, softness of the shoulders. And softness in the attitude towards the tightness that is likely to be present in your body. Good, putting a bend in that left knee and planting the left foot down. And then coming back onto the hands and the knees and just taking a few breaths, either in a cat-cow or in any other movement around the shoulders or the hips. And then sitting yourself back onto your heels and grabbing your block or your book and placing it in between your elbows. And then lifting the arms up. The elbows are in line with the shoulders and you're gripping onto the block or the book. It's a lot harder with a book. Take an inhale into the upper back. And then exhale, draw the shoulder blades down, send the elbows forwards and squeeze the block. Inhale, breathe into the upper back. Exhale, send the shoulder blades down, the elbows forwards, squeezing the block. Inhale, breathe into the upper back. Send the shoulder blades down, elbows forwards and squeeze the block. And then release the block. Bring the forearms down onto the mat for dolphin. Measuring the distance in between the upper arms by bringing the hands around the biceps. And then either clasping the hands together or you can bring the palms down. Taking an inhale into that space in between the shoulder blades. And then exhale, squeezing the elbows in as you would do with the block. Option to lift the hips up into the air. And taking a few breaths here to really push down through the entire length of the forearms, lifting the sitting bones up and back. And even though you're working through the upper body, see if you can relax the back of the head and the back of the neck. Taking another up to 3 more breaths. And whenever you're done, meeting in a child's pose. And in your child's pose, again, finding some space with the breath all of the way down in the low back. Good, and then bringing the hands back out in front of you and lifting back up into a downward facing dog. And taking an inhale to lift the right leg up into the air, bending the right knee and opening the right hip. And taking a moment to just check that the armpits are back in line. So maybe the right armpit is lifted up. See if you can bring the armpits into an equal line with each other and with the ground. And then take another breath in, push through the hands and reach away through your right knee. And then exhale, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. So your hands are both down on the inside of the right foot for a lizard lunge. So just starting here by taking a few little circles. So starting to roll some little circles around that right hip. And the left knee can be down if that makes it a bit more accessible for you. And then coming into stillness and either reaching away through the heel of that left foot if the left knee is lifted, or releasing the left knee down. And if you feel really comfortable here and you want to come deeper, then you can bring the forearms down towards the ground. And taking a few breaths again, see if you can explore creating space into that right hip with the breath. And with the exhale, allowing both of the hips to soften and let go just a little bit. And then coming back up onto the hands, if you're down on your forearms, an option to stay here, or to bend that back knee and reach around with your right hand, holding onto your left ankle. And if you can't reach, you can also grab like a dressing gown belt or a jumper to help reach around that left foot. And just taking a couple of breaths here, breathing into both of your hips. And exhale, letting the hips settle and sink a little bit down towards the mat. And releasing that foot back. We're coming into pigeon pose, so walking your right heel over towards the left side of the mat, bringing the right shin down. And the right foot is flexed to protect the knee. So if you need some support underneath your right hip, put a cushion or a block or a book there. And come up onto your fingertips and lift the chest up. Push down through the top of the left foot and the right shin. Take an inhale and lift the chest into the air. And then exhale to roll forwards, drawing the shoulder blades back and down. Inhale to lift the chest up. Exhale, draw the shoulders down, send the heart forwards. Inhale to lift the chest up. And this time coming as far forwards as feels comfortable for you. Maybe bringing the forearms down, maybe bringing the chest down. Wherever you are, see if you can find something for the forehead to rest on. So maybe that's your block or your fists. And then again, in using your breath to invite some space wherever you feel that tightness. Using your exhales to soften the holding. And then bringing yourself back up onto your hands, tucking the left toes under, and lifting back up into a downward facing dog, and shaking that right leg off. Option for one more vinyasa here, or just moving straight to the second side. Using an inhale to lift the left leg up into the air, and bend the left knee and open the left hip. And then again, bringing that left armpit so it's square with the ground. Pushing through the hands and getting really long, all the way from your fingers up to the left knee. Taking another inhale here. And exhale, step the left foot outside of the hands. Option to bring the back knee down. Taking some little circles around your left hip in your lizard lunge. And then coming into stillness and just finding somewhere that you can spend just 2 or 3 breaths. Maybe the knees down or the knees up. The hands are down or the forearms are down. Noticing the breath. And then maybe you want to stay here, or you can reach around with your left hand and hold on to your right ankle. Breathing deep down into the front of the right hip, the whole of the left hip. And then coming into your pigeon pose, so walking the left foot over towards the right. And again, supporting your left hip with whatever it needs to be supported. And bringing your fingertips alongside of your hips. Taking inhale to lift the chest up. And exhale to roll yourself forwards. Inhale to lift the chest up. Exhale to roll forwards, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Inhale to push through the top of the right foot, lift the chest up. And exhale, finding your fold in your pigeon. Maybe the forearms are down. Maybe the chest is down. And finding some support for the forehead again. Breathing deeply and creating space with your breath as deep down into your left hip as you can do. Finding how far you can get your breath to reach. And gently bringing yourself back up, moving any props out of the way, and rolling onto your left hip and bringing your legs out in front of you. And then bringing your thumbs in towards your fists and rolling the fingers over the top with the legs out in front of you, just giving your legs an opportunity to release anything that they're holding on to. Giving yourself a little bit of a massage and giving the glutes a bit of a massage as well. Good. And then bending the knees and bringing the soles of the feet together. And if you can be supported in your Baddha Konasana with your butterfly pose, then coming up against a wall or a sofa. Otherwise, just bringing the hands out behind you and letting the eyes close down. And taking a few deep breaths, inviting the breath all of the way up into the collarbones. As you exhale, soften through your hips, so not trying to get them to be any different to how they are. Just allowing them to have some space to release, to let go. Good. And then drawing the knees back together and just giving yourself a little bit of a hug, bringing the forehead down towards the knees and breathing into the space in between the shoulder blades. Good. And then bringing the legs out in front of you, bringing the arms out alongside of the shoulders and plugging the shoulders into the sockets, drawing the low belly in, and then slowly starting to roll yourself down. So bring your low back down first, then the middle part of the back, then the upper back, and then releasing all of the way down. And hugging the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a bit of a squeeze. And either taking some circles again with the knees around the hip joints, or you can take a happy baby pose, bringing the hands to the outsides of the feet or the backs of the thighs. And wherever you are, see if you can bring some deep breath down into the hips, the pelvis. And then see if you can focus on rooting the sacrum, the lowest part of the back, down into the ground. Feeling that groundedness through that part of your back. And then drawing the knees in towards the chest, keeping the right knee in and extending the left leg out to straight on the mat. Then for a twist, bringing the left hand onto the right thigh and drawing that right thigh over towards the left, reaching the right arm out in line with the shoulder. And inhale, breathing all the way down into the lowest part of the back. And exhale, softening that right shoulder, softening that right hip. And drawing yourself back to center. Switching over the legs, hugging the left knee in. Taking an inhale here. And then exhale, releasing the left knee towards the right. Bringing the left arm out in line with the body. Again, breathing some space all of the way down into the low back, into the left hip. And exhale, softening the left shoulder, the left hip, and the jaw. Slowly drawing yourself back to center. Either bring the feet wide on the mat and let the knees drop in towards the center, or bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop out towards the side. An option to bring one hand over the low belly and one hand over the heart. Or if you prefer to have the downward facing triangle like we did at the start, you can bring the downward facing triangle below the low belly, below the belly button. And taking a few breaths now all of the way down into the space below the belly button. As you exhale, softening the lowest part of your back and your hips. And then inviting some breath into the heart space. Especially the sides and the back of the heart. With the exhales, softening the heart space, allowing it to settle. And taking a couple of breaths to connect the belly, the hips, and the heart, breathing into all of those spaces simultaneously. And then as you exhale, letting the body rest, release down into the ground. And from here, we'll move into Shavasana. So taking any other movements that feel intuitive or helpful for your body, or just taking a blanket, some socks. And starting to find your way into some stillness, lying down on your mat, or in a position that's comfortable for you, maybe on your side or your belly or your back. If you're on your back, tuck the tailbone under to lengthen the low back and draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then just soften any areas of the face, the jaw, the shoulders that are still holding as much as you can today. Softening any conscious control of the breath. And allowing yourself this space just to be with whatever is present for you. A sense of allowing that and softening anyway. And as much as you can, allowing the body to rest and release and let go, to be held by the space that you're resting in. And starting to deepen the breath again. Perhaps making some little movements with your fingers, your toes. Maybe taking a stretch, reaching the arms up over the head. And then hugging the knees in and rolling over to whichever side feels comfortable. And just pausing on one side. Again, getting a sense of letting the body rest, release. And then gently bring yourself back up into a comfortable seat. Bring the hands together in front of the heart space. Lengthen the back of the neck and lower the gaze. And invite in some breath again into that space around the heart. Just bringing awareness to whatever's present there. And honouring whatever's present, whatever's real for you just now. And we'll close the practice with the sound of an Om together, if it feels okay to Om in your space. Taking a deep breath in. Om. Thank you all for sharing your practice this evening. Namaste. Thank you. Take care of yourselves and have a lovely week. If anybody's got any questions or wants to say hello, then feel free.
Thank you, Alice.
You're welcome. Otherwise, have a lovely week and lots of love. Breathe lots, please.
Thanks, Alice.
Thank you.